Okay, hi everyone. We're here for our fourth pop-up talk today during the break time, and this is Bruno Leys.
One
sec. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Bruno. I work in Belgium at Vives University College of Applied Sciences. I'm a teacher trainer, and I usually talk about things like grammar, and that's also going to be the subject in this brief talk, especially the thing about grammar that we rarely teach, because we tell learners to study it all by themselves. It's the irregular verbs list. And I have a few issues with the pointlessness of making them do all the work, because mainly it's all stored in their short-term memory and it disappears a few weeks later. The only words they manage to remember are the frequent ones, and it's not because they study the list only, but because they keep being confronted with them. They get the input elsewhere. Another thing with those lists is that if you remember them in sequence. The primings are the infinitive, past simple, and then the past participle. But when you have to speak, you don't pass by that infinitive, you just start speaking, and there are other words around that you need to link these two. The irregular verb lists also ignore frequency. Forgiven, for instance, is far more common than forgave, but we study them just the same and in the list. And then there's the other issue. If you do master to learn some of these forms, then suddenly the next chapter is negatives or questions. They start with to do, and suddenly we don't use those past forms anymore, but we use infinitives. And what a lot of learners do is use two past forms or a double past form, didn't, and then also the past simple of the verb. So what can we do about this? A few suggestions. First of all, maybe that we don't study these as singular words or lists of three words, but that we look at the words they occur together with. So a more lexical view of this. For instance, if you think of a verb like went, talk about things like went out, went into, I went swimming, I went shopping, because that's how you're going to use it later on. If you fell into something, or you fell down, or you fell silent, or you fell short, or you fell asleep. Also with didn't, look at the most common verbs collocating with it, like didn't know, didn't tell, didn't mean, didn't feel. And when I looked into the corpus, I saw that two of the frequent collocates with didn't were also really and even, which were often not in the exercises. I didn't even know, or I didn't really tell you the truth. And if we look at a classroom activity apart from exercise where you could focus more on those collocations, one idea is that you give learners sentences, everyday sentences that contain a past simple form, for instance, the regular one. You told me a lie. And the activity is accusations and contradictions, so that they walk around the classroom and they move to the person next to them and say, you told me a lie, and the other person contradicts. I didn't tell you a lie. And so you immediately get the affirmative and the negative form. And a variation on that is the accusations and questioning, with a similar phrase like, you came home late yesterday, and then the person said, did I come home late yesterday? And if they walk around the classroom, they keep practicing the same phrase, but they also keep hearing other phrases and responding to them all the time. And it's a kind of drill activity, but it might be more meaningful than just studying the list that's gone in 50 seconds anyway. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.